Hey guys, Cade, CEO of Brewster Consulting Group here, and I'm back with the second part of our series on data governance. Today, last time in our last video, I focused on all of the components that make up an effective data governance program, which, as a reminder, data governance is just a fancy way of saying how do you manage all of your data assets inside of your organization. Today, now that we've established what makes up a good data governance program, we're going to talk about the most effective way to set up a data governance program so that it's actually going to drive value for your organization. So let's jump into it. Okay, so let's talk about the proper data governance framework, meaning how do you set up a data governance program to make sure that it's going to be as impactful as possible to driving value for your organization. Now, the biggest mistake that organizations make when they're setting up a data governance program is that they start with the technology. So they decide they want to use TIBCO, Informatica, some of these big tools that are out there, right? It doesn't matter, but they pick a technology, they think that's going to solve all of their data problems, and then they roll with that technology. That is the wrong way to approach a good data governance program. You never start with the technology. Instead, what you need to start with is the strategic business drivers. What factors in your business are going to define how you measure success in a data governance program? And then what are the desired outcomes from those business drivers? So, what do you actually hope to achieve? That's the actual value in a good data governance program, right? Is that it's supposed to help you drive towards specific outcomes. So, you have to start with what are the desired outcomes? And then you let that lead to how do I structure our people in order to support those outcomes and an effective data environment that drives towards those outcomes. How do we build our processes to make sure that we have accurate and effective data assets that are going to drive towards those outcomes? And then once you've structured the people, once you've structured the process, all to obtain those outcomes, that's when you can look at technology and allow that technology to actually take you all the way to those desired outcomes because you've already structured the people and the process correctly and you have a laser focus on the outcomes that you're trying to achieve. That's when technology really drives a lot of value. If you start with the technology and you take bad processes and bad people structure around your data and then you buy a super fancy Lamborghini-esque technology solution for data governance or data management, you're just going to then have really bad processes and really bad procedures inside of a really expensive technology. It's not going to fix your problems or drive you to the right outcomes if you do not focus on identifying the outcomes you want to achieve first, figuring out how to structure the people and process to support those outcomes, and then you move to the technology and how that can enable you. So from there, we're going to jump to strategic business drivers, right? And this is pretty generic strategic business drivers, but in general, right, if you're starting at the top, most organizations want to maximize revenue, reduce expense, improve operational efficiency, inform strategic decisions, and support data-driven decision making, right? They want to make more money, spend less money, do things faster without any suffering of quality, and they want to have more information to make decisions. So that's very generic. Depending on your industry and your business, obviously you're going to get down into more specific goals, like making sure the data that's fed into your general ledger is correct, making sure that you can measure profitability on a client or product basis, whatever those things are. And there's some examples on the right here of some of those specific items. But at the end of the day, these are the high-level strategic business drivers. But you have to pick. You have to pick the specific ones that you want to achieve. And then once you pick the specific ones that you want to achieve, you have to define that in terms of outcomes. What does the future look like? What does the actual outcome of this effort look like? A lot of times it's going to be a single source of truth. You hear that a lot when you're talking about data management or data governance, but that's a really good thing to think about. You want a single source of truth for organizational data. In addition to that, you want to define good data retention schedules. You want to have a transparent and clear data dictionary. You want to have a multi-level analytics build. So in analytics, there are executive, operational, and performance levels of analytics. So it starts at the top and goes more granular as you go down. So you want to make sure that you have a really effective analytics environment. You want to make sure that you have appropriate controls, especially if you're in like healthcare or financial services where you have highly protected data. You want to make sure that you have really good controls in place, especially for the governing bodies that you're going to have to answer to. You want better tooling in support of your first line of defense. Again, that's kind of a risk or audit term, but your first line of defense is going to be your frontline managers who are helping you prevent risk issues. So you want to make sure that they have good tools, and you want a center of excellence to oversee change control, right? And so we're talking about, if we flash back 2 slides to our structure, business drivers, feeds outcomes, feeds people, feeds process, feeds technology. Well, we talked about the business drivers. What are the specific outcomes that help get you to those business drivers? Now we're to the people piece, which is how do we align the people? There's a lot of different ways to do this. I'm an enormous advocate of setting up a center of excellence. And so a center of excellence is going to be made up of kind of 3 parts. You're going to have business leaders who are focused on organizational data needs at the highest level, kind of that executive level. You're going to have line of business data needs, which are going to be what we call functional data stewards. So these are the people who exist inside of each business line inside of the organization who really know the data. They know the systems. They probably do the in-application reporting in the systems that that business line uses. They know the tables. They know how to structure data for that line of business. It's really important that you pull in the data experts from each line of business to be a part of this center of excellence if you want to have success and get buy-in across the organization. And then you have a centralized team. This will often be a centralized data governance or analytics team. A lot of time it's centered in IT under the CIO or CTO, and that's fine. But one thing to make note of is the whole purpose of building a center of excellence is to take a centralized analytics or data governance team and integrate them with the business, the functional data stewards and the business leaders. Because if you want to have success in a data governance program, it cannot be IT led. Business leaders cannot feel like, oh, this is just another thing that IT is asking us to do. I don't want to mess with it. I don't see the value in it. It's just another meeting and another time suck. You will fail at properly implementing a data governance program if people have that attitude towards it. It needs to be a business-led initiative, which is why we started with the business drivers and the outcomes that you're trying to achieve. You have to tie all of the actions that you take from a data governance perspective with the help of the functional data stewards and the business leaders back to specific business outcomes that you are trying to achieve. If you do that, what will happen, and I have seen it multiple times, is that you will build momentum. At the beginning of a center of excellence, you will have a chair who is leading the meetings, and it'll be like pulling teeth to get information from people. You're really going to have to force it to get the functional data stewards and the business leaders to participate. But as you start to do more work and as you start to fix problems for them, or even better with them, you're going to start to get more and more buy-in, and the demand curve will flip. You will go from barely being able to get information or time on the calendar with the functional data stewards and business leaders to now you've solved a few of problems for the functional data stewards out there. Now you have way too many requests that people are asking for to even deal with, and your functional data stewards and your business leaders are arguing and fighting over who gets to go first. That's a good spot to be, because now you get to prioritize what you work on and the problems that you solve based on what is going to be most impactful for the business. That's where you want to get. It's going to take a lot of work, but if you structure your COE correctly and you ingrain yourself in the business and you make your data governance program implementation be focused on driving business outcomes, you will flip the demand curve and you will eventually get the entire enterprise bought into what you're trying to do from a data governance perspective. But if you make it an IT-led initiative, where you're just doing one more technical initiative that nobody wants to participate in and is a time suck on their calendars, it will fail, it will not get buy-in, and it will not drive any actual value for the organization. So that's how you set it up from a approach, from a outcomes definition, and from a people structure definition. This is part 2 of our data governance series. I don't want to make these videos too long, and I know I can be very cringy on these videos, so I don't want to leave people listening to me for too long. So I'm going to stop here. In our next video, we're going to talk specifically about the process. How do you actually start to technically execute inside of a new data governance program that you're rolling out for your organization? Once you've got a COE, once you've identified the outcomes you're trying to drive, once you've done all of the things that we talked about in this video, how do you actually start to execute technically on driving a data governance program? So I hope this was informative. Drop any comments that you have on the video. Appreciate your time if you watched all of this, and we shall chat on the next one.